back to the Off-Grid family. Today we'll be taking apart a hairdryer. Now I know that seems like that can't have any anything to do with Off-Grid, but it does, I assure you, and I will tell you as we go on. There'll be two different projects I'm going to be doing from this one hairdryer, and I will have them both on within the year. One will surprise you, well no, both will surprise you I would have thought. Anyway, enjoy it, let's get on. Okay, so as you can see, I have already taken it apart because when it broke I wanted to see if it was fixable before I took it apart for spare bits and pieces. But on seeing the wiring on the inside I was just like, there's no point. There was loads of problems with it and I didn't want to, there was no point risking it basically. This had security screws on, you know, like the different shapes, so you couldn't just use a normal screwdriver in it, but I always find just use the small flat head screwdriver, get it in, and it will often open it for you anyway. Let's see what's inside. Okay, so this is basically an entire hairdryer here. A lot of extra packaging on these. Okay, so that's the power cable off. And this bit is the bit I'm interested in most. Here we have the heating elements, and this is Nichrome Wire, which I'll be using in a project very soon. Let's wiggle that off. Now if you have a look in here, we've got a bridge rectifier circuit which changes it from AC current to DC, and there was the problem, look, completely snapped off. It was so badly designed. In fact, believe it or not, it wasn't actually even soldered on. The motor was not connected at all to any of the rest of it. How bad is that? But this wire is going to actually be used in a project where I'm going to be making sheaths for my knives, which you can watch, and when I've done it I'll put a little link on the screen. But I'm not interested in any of this really. I'll be using all of the switches in other projects. I'm doing one on a 100-watt light at the moment, which I'll probably use one of these for, possibly. But we've got a push button, 3-stage switch, 3-stage switch, and I will find out what those are. That is in a minute. Not entirely sure. But as you can see, we've got a lot of non-return diodes, heating element, switches, and I'll put little labels on what all of those are in a minute. Okay, so this is Nichrome Wire, which is an alloy made of nickel and chromium and often contains other things like iron and various other bits and pieces. And what happens is, if you put a current through it, it heats up because it's got such a high resistance, and for that reason it tends to be used for things like hair dryers and anything that needs a heating element. You find it in some soldering irons and so on. What happens is, let's take this brown wire and this black wire. The brown wire is connected right down at the bottom and the black wire is connected right at the top, and if you put voltage through it, enough voltage, it will heat up this entire set of elements. And then the hairdryer would blow air through it, and obviously that would heat the air up, making your hairdryer work. And then there's other wires which are connected lower and lower, so you could have it on small amount of heat, larger amount of heat, full blast. But this wire can be used for a multitude of things, and one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to take it off, straighten it, and I'm going to use it actually as a foam cutter for when I'm making my sheaths for my knives. If you put enough voltage through it, you can cut other materials, but too much voltage and you'll blow it out. You know, it will just melt. But it's got quite a high melting temperature as well, which is obviously why it's used for things like this. But this will be quite good fun in a few projects up and coming very soon. But this is what I'm interested in, this here. And as I said, I'd tell you what I was up to. I would like to make a forge soon, and a lot of people use hairdryers for the blower device, but what's the point in having the blower device with heating elements and all that stuff when you can have it just down to those two basic elements? Now what I want to do is test this motor, see what speed I can get it up to safely without overheating it, and what power consumption it needs. So that's my next job. I'm going to start off by trying 5 volts on it. Perfect. Okay. All I need to do now is wire this up, having the wires coming out the side. This connected to a tube that will then blow air into the burning ash and embers, and that will increase the heat to a point where I can actually bend and melt certain steels and certain metals. So it's only a very quick one today, but that is the part I was after. So we can have a look at that in one of my next videos working. What I'll do now is I'll lay out all of the other bits that were in it, so I can put labels on it all for you.